Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Season 4, Episode 4 of Bloomington Buddies. As always, it's myself and producer Jackson. How we doing on this lovely Wednesday?
Doing pretty
30
good.
minutes before afternoon.
Yeah, pretty good, honestly. Yeah, way warmer down here than everybody's expecting it to be the past few weeks. So
Yeah,
I'm really liking that, especially in February.
I put a sweatshirt on for my walk over here, and then I'm like, oh, I'm like hot right now. So
I think it's supposed to be like, it's supposed to get up to like 68 at some point this week, which is just insane.
All right. It's time to talk about IU basketball.
Yeah.
So the last we spoke, they had just beaten Iowa.
By the skin of their teeth.
By the skin of their teeth. Then they had a home matchup against Penn State, and a lot of people were like, okay, that should be an easy win, and then we can start getting down to some games.
I remember you were especially saying like, yeah, that'll be an easy game. Let's move past that one, and then we'll.
And it really should have been an easy game, but IU made it incredibly hard on themselves. They got out to like a 10-point lead almost immediately to start the game. And in the second half, they just completely collapsed.
I mean, it's kind of the story of this team, though, this year. You know, like even when we get a big lead at half, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
There was no heart being showed at the end of that. I went to that game.
You went to it?
I went to that game. That was a miserable game to be at. I did not have fun at all. Penn State also shot 12 of 22 from three. These guys could not miss.
God.
And they won by 14 points, 85-71.
And Penn State isn't even that good, is the thing.
No, they're really not.
Had a really good showing.
Me, who was holding out hope longer than a lot of people, because what fun is it to just go through a season and be like, yeah. No, I'm going to try to find a way to be optimistic. But even me, I'm like, nah, we're cooked.
We're cooked.
Season's done. They're not going to do anything else. So going into last night's game at Ohio State, I was like, all right, I'm going to watch the game, but it's going to piss me off. Mm-hmm. I got to watch it.
Yeah.
Because I have to. But I'm not going to have fun at all, and they're just going to get blown out.
I mean, the only maybe minute glimmer of hope that they have left is if they beat Purdue, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
So I turn on the game, and they look awful to start the first half. I mean, Ohio State was up 10 by the time there was 8 minutes left in the half. They were up 12 at halftime. No one was shooting well. They were taking silly fouls. It was just an awful game to watch. And I'm like, all right, that's it. Their season's done. They're absolutely dead and gone right now. And then to start the half, Malik Renew picks up a technical foul for yapping at the ref. Ohio State scores, I think, the first 7 points of the second half, and within a blink, they're up 18 points. And that's it. Their season's done at that point. They're down 18 points. They're about to lose to a team that has lost 7 of their last 8, and they're cooked. So what I did is I went and I picked up my friend from his 8 p.m. exam, and then I went back because I was chilling at their house watching the game.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll get you from your exam. So I come back, they're down like 9. All right, whoop-de-doo. And then immediately they're down 12 with 7 minutes to go. 7 minutes to go. They're down 12. Last 7 minutes of the game, Indiana outscores Ohio State 23-8. The desperation was there. They were actually defending. They were hitting some really good shots. Trey Galloway caught fire down the stretch. They ended up being down 2 with 20 seconds to go. And they kick it to the corner for Anthony Leal for his first shot of the game. And he drills it.
I mean, Anthony Leal is just... What else does Woodson need to see? What else does he need to see? Give the kid more playing time.
He had some not great shots in the first half, but drills the 3. Not only that, so now we're up 1, and I'm like, a stop. My kingdom for a stop. They get the stop. Kalel Ware is all alone on a fast break, and his left leg just buckles as he goes up for this dunk.
God.
He played it out. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah.
But, of course, Anthony Leal is there to get the rebound, because if he doesn't get that, Ohio State has a chance to go back again to win the game. Anthony Leal hits both free throws. Ohio State gets a better look than they should have gotten to tie the game with 2 seconds. But they miss it, and the season is still alive for Indiana.
I really don't think it is. I really don't think it is. Like, this season, for them to be still alive, they have to win every game. They have to win the rest of the games. Every single game. Every single game. It doesn't matter. Like, last time that we met, it was like, okay, if they win these 4, they could possibly have a chance of having their season still alive. They have to win every single game for the rest of the season. They have to. They have to be Purdue. They have to be Northwestern, Nebraska, Penn State again. Like, they have to get revenge on Penn State, I should say. Like, there's no way any of this is happening. I'm sorry. I love you, Woodson. I've been at your back the past 3 years, but like this season is just, if we're like, it was a great game. It was fun to see the comeback and everything, you know, but it's the one time that it's only happened this entire season, you know. I mean, a few days before, it's getting basically blown out by Penn State at home. At home.
Yeah.
So
they just have to find some consistency, and I really hope
where there is none.
Yeah. I really hope that this 18-point comeback win is just the turnaround moment for their season that they needed.
It's the bad news Bears moment for them.
I really like when the bad news Bears won their first win is because the other team had like 8 players and they couldn't play. Here's something that I think everyone should take away from this game. No matter how down you are, how sad you are about your day, because I've you know, sometimes we have a bad day, you know. Just know there is always somebody that has it worse.
Find the Anthony Leal in your life.
Ohio State has lost 8 of their last 9 after starting 10-2. 12-2. They started 12-2, and then they lost to Indiana at home, and it has been downhill since. They have looked bad, and now this is in back-to-back games. They've blown, I think, a double-digit lead. I think they were up 10 on Iowa, and they lost that game at the last minute on the road. They lose this game on the last minute at home. It's looking really rough for Ohio State. Only 3 at 3-9 in conference play. That's just Indiana, though. They're only a half game back of the 4 seed. Currently, it's Purdue at 10-2 in conference. Illinois and Wisconsin at 8-3. And then after those 3, it's just everybody else.
It's just everyone else.
One game separates 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 teams that are separated by 1 game. Minnesota's 6-5, Northwestern's 6-5, Nebraska, Indiana, Michigan State are 6-6, Iowa State, Penn State are 5-6.
Like I said, if they can somehow find a way to pull off an undefeated rest of the season, that's huge. That's huge for them. Because then in the end, it only comes out to 6 conference losses, which is still not great. But, you know, compared to what it could have been, that's amazing, you know. But, I mean, again, the inconsistencies, like you said, of this team is just infuriating to the point where it's like, okay, yeah, it's clearly not going to happen. The only thing that they've been consistent about is being inconsistent. So I don't see a scenario in which they are able to pull off this kind of a miracle and still make the tournament. I really don't see it.
We'll see. I'm gonna hold out hope as long as it's there. I think they can afford to lose to Purdue, but then, like I said, I'm saying 20 wins is the mark. I'm telling you, 20 wins is the mark.
I don't think that's right, though. Because you have to think from this perspective. We've lost every single ranked opponent that we've ever played then at that point, right?
Well, here's the
thing.
Am
I right on that?
In order to get to 20 wins, though, they're going to have to beat some good teams. They go hand in hand. That's what I'm trying to say.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I've rooted for enough teams in my life where I've learned it's like, okay, there's a line that once you cross it, you just cut the cord.
We'll see. That win, I hate that it is just giving me hope for the rest of the year, but they did. They couldn't just lose and put my hopes to bed. They had to come back from down 18 points. So we'll see. I'll make one prediction for the Purdue game.
Okay.
I don't think they will lose by 21 because that's what they lost by at home. I don't think they'll lose by 21.
I really think they're going to. I think
they will lose by like 10. Because here's the thing. You're always better when you play a team the second time.
I mean,
they played about as bad as they could have against Purdue the first time. I think they will play a little bit better, but they won't win.
But we had the advantage for us last time. We were at home, you know. If we were at home this time, then I might be inclined to believe you. Like, yes, I think they would be better. They'd have the home field advantage, you know, everybody would be behind them, screaming their heads off. But it's going to be the exact opposite. The fact that we got beat by 20 points at home, like, is there room for improvement? Absolutely. But I really don't think that with that kind of environment, especially in Mackey Arena, like, that's not going to, it's not going to be in their favor at all. I really think that it's going to be a similar score to last time.
I'm gonna throw out a few things that will give you a little bit of confidence going into this game. I'm not saying they're gonna win.
No.
I'm not saying they're gonna win.
I'm just a huge pessimist this episode. So
second time they've played them, they'll be better the second time around.
Okay. Yep.
I literally just forgot the second thing I was gonna say, so that's great. I think there's a chance Purdue just completely overlooks in this game. They're like, oh, we beat the hell out of these guys, and we get it at home. Oh, let's just. I think there's a chance they do that. I'm not saying they will. I'm just saying the possibility's there.
I think it's a possibility. Yes, that's a good point. But at the same time, you also have to think, like, it's one of the biggest rivalries in college basketball. Like, no matter what happens, they're not going to overlook them, I feel like. No matter how bad the team is, like, yes, they can have that thought in their mind, just like, all right, let's steamroll these guys and then let's move on, you know? But at the same time, you also have to not really honor the rivalry or anything like that. But at the same time, you just kind of have to know that it's not just another game for them, I feel like, you know?
We'll see. And then lastly, I saw this morning, but this came out at 8:36 p.m. yesterday.
Okay.
A Twitter account called John from Wrigleyville, shout out Cubs,
Go Cubs, go.
Put out a post. It's a picture of Zach Edey. It says All-American Zach Edey of at Purdue or at Boiler Ball purchasing marijuana at Ascend River North this evening. Would hate if he got drug tested and the NCAA did something about it.
Oh my God.
I don't know if Zach Edey is actually lighting up and smoking, but that's definitely something worth noting. That guy's got to be an IU fan. Like,
why you gotta keep giving me hope now? Why do you have to do that?
So, I'm gonna actually. My friend sent me that tweet. I'm gonna see if there's anything going on about this. Zach.
I'll just look up his name.
Zach Edey marijuana.
There's nothing if you just Google his name, so I feel like nobody's conducting anything right now. It's
just that tweet. I guarantee you they won't do anything.
Yeah.
Not that they should go after him guns blazing for smoking some weed, but
no.
But I mean, it's
still
there.
illegal in Indiana.
Can't be doing that. Can't be doing that. We'll see. IU Purdue this Saturday, 8 p.m. We'll see what the Hoosiers can do. There have been teams with less than a 3% chance to win that have won.
You know what? I'll give it to you.
Just take everything you did so badly against them last time and just improve upon it.
And just don't do the same thing.
Yeah. We'll see. Purdue's, I mean...
Again, Woodson's in the locker room like with a whiteboard, and he's just like, this is the basket. The objective is to put the ball in the basket.
Yeah.
Go do that.
And then after Purdue, 8 days to prepare for Northwestern in that big stretch of games. So we'll see.
Well, we had 8 days to prepare for what was
for
it?
Illinois.
For
and
Illinois.
They came out really well against Illinois. Like, they really should have won that game.
I remember that was the hype going into that game. It was like, oh yeah, we have 8 days to prepare, and we lost by 18. Or no, only 8 points. They
were tied with like a minute to go, and then Xavier Johnson missed 2 free throws.
Yeah. So I mean,
it's there. I'm telling you, it's there.
All right.
Time to talk about the women's team. Because they've been doing really well.
They've been doing really well.
Not as good as they did last year, but they're still
Well, I was going to say
top
that's
3 Big Ten.
That's the big downside for this thing is like with this team, they're really good, but when it comes to ranked opponents, it's not a good track record this year so far. Just lost to Ohio State on the road, granted. And, granted, they kept it very close. They kept it very close the final minute of the game. Like, I think they were only down by maybe 3 or so at one point, or 3 or 2 maybe it probably was. But yeah, IU kept it close at the very end of that game. So
I don't think anyone's going to be slamming you for losing to the number 8 team on the road by 5 points.
No, that's the thing. And I think they're still ranked. They're ranked number 14 in this week. They've lost to Iowa, I think only once. They play them again February 22nd. Yeah, so they've still got some good matchups coming up ahead of them to look forward to, And like I said, they're a really good team. They're ranked number 14 in the country for a reason. The biggest blow for our team so far has been the loss of Sydney Parrish. She had a foot injury, I think, 2 weeks ago, I think. So she's been out. But the team has been able to recover well without her, And, yeah, I'm not too worried, honestly, about the women's team. The women's team has always been really solid. And so, yeah, I'm not too worried, really, right now, at least. Because, yeah, we talked before starting the recording and everything. When it comes to the Big Ten for the women's teams, it's Iowa, Ohio State, Indiana. That's it. Those are the top 3 teams right there, and they're all in the top 15, I think, right now. So they're gonna be fine. They're gonna make the tournament, and as long as they can keep building upon what they've been doing well without Sydney, then they're gonna be good. They're gonna be good.
None of those 3 teams, Iowa, Ohio State, Indiana, are going to lose to any of the other teams of the Big Ten.
No.
Rutgers is down here sitting at 1-11 in conference play. Oof.
But yeah, like you said earlier, the biggest thing to avoid is to not overlook anybody. Because for Indy, the rest of their schedule is just Big Ten teams, But you can't overlook anybody is the thing. No matter how much you think you have it in the bag, you cannot be overlooking anybody because the last thing you need to do is lose to an unranked, Northwestern team going into the end of the tournament or the end of the season.
So the way IU can win the Big Ten regular season title, I was looking at this earlier. Here's what would have to happen. They would need to beat Iowa at home, which definitely could happen.
Yeah.
And then they would need Iowa to beat Ohio State at home.
Because, Iowa...
Because then they would all be sitting with 2 losses.
Yeah. So
and they would all be 1 to each other.
Shootout,
It'd be 1 to each other, which is, I think, the most likely scenario to happen. IU is actually the only Big Ten team that hasn't lost a game at home this year. They're 11-0 at home. Who did Iowa lose to at home?
They've lost twice, I think, right?
It was to an out-of-conference opponent, I believe. It was to Kansas State. Kansas State beat them at home. They only put up 58 points, which, when you got a player that's damn near averaging 40 a game and Caitlin Clark, it's kind of...
That's impressive right there. Who else did they lose to? They lost to Ohio State.
Those are their only 2.
192. So it's not like it was a bad performance.
They rushed the court, and then Caitlin Clark,
right.
truck sticked the fan and then flopped. So I'm sorry, that's what she did. I'm not gonna keep talking about that, but we'll have to see. Ohio State's up to 5 in the country. Iowa's at 2. IU's at 14.
So yeah, as long as. Yeah, like you said, as long as IU beats Iowa and Iowa beats Ohio State, then it's a 3-way tie.
And then there's the Big Ten tournament, which anyone can win. If you want to get back to the men's team, I was talking to my friends. I'm like, they got to win 20 games, blah, blah, blah. But my friends they could just lose out and then win the Big Ten tournament.
Then just win the Big Ten.
I don't mean to pig. This will be the last thing I'll say about the men's team, and then we can talk about the Super Bowl.
I do have one other thing to bring up real quick
about the women's team.
Well, I was just gonna say, big headline from this week. Did you hear about Juju Watkins?
No.
She is a freshman at USC. Put up 51 points.
Damn.
51 points against the number 4 team in the country. Was it number 4? Yeah, number 4 team in the country, Stanford. And I'm pretty sure it was on the road, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Good for her.
51 points, but this is just an absurd performance, though. 1, as a freshman, but 2, 51 out of 67 total points for USC or for USC, meaning she scored 76% of the team's points that game. And I mean, only 3 other players besides Juju scored in that game, and 2 of them just scored 2 points, and that's it. Like,
Jesus.
it's just the definition of carrying a team. It's absurd. It's such an incredible performance, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it a lot.
I'll give you a similar performance. There's a girl at IU Northwest. Go Redhawks. I used to broadcast games for them until they told me to leave because they were going to give it to somebody else. So, there's that. But this girl played at this. Her name's Jessica Carruthers. She played at Crown Point. Shout out Eddie. And they played Lake Central in the like regional final. She dropped like 40 of their 50 points and they won. But here's the thing. IU Northwest, for all their games, they just have someone sitting with their phone and they post like 10 Instagram reels a game. And so since I follow them, obviously, it's all that my feed is just
all of those clips.
But here's the thing. She has the ugliest jumper you will ever see. She literally like lifts both her hands behind her head and just throws the ball.
It's kind of like the Larry Bird shot a little bit, though.
It's like it's worse though. But here's the thing. She does not miss. She just doesn't miss. Every game, she's dropping 40 points, 35 points, 44 points. Every single game. And it's not even... She will literally just spot up from anywhere. Like mid-range, 3-point, anything. And she just drills it.
But yeah, that's like what I just said. Yeah, the behind-the-head shot, I mean, that's all Larry Bird right there. I mean, that was what he became iconic for, I feel like. Well... obviously all the championships and everything, but yeah, that's really funny. That's awesome.
All right, well, I'm trying to remember what I was about to say about the men's team. I was about to say something about the Big Ten tournament, and then I completely just forgot.
This is about I used.
Here's the thing. I think not only the part of the 20 wins, they got to win at least 1 or 2 games in the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah.
If they lose no matter how, even if they get to the 20 wins, if they lose in the first round of the Big Ten tournament, done. They got to at least win 1, probably 2 games.
Oh yeah.
Which they
have to make it far in the tournament if they even want to be considered for March Madness.
Well, they were the 9 seed 2 years ago, and no one thought they'd make the tournament. And then they beat Michigan and Illinois.
But then they have to play in like the.
They played in the play-in.
Yeah,
they
play-in
beat
game,
Wyoming, right? I think. But here's the thing: who cares where they're at in the tournament if they make the tournament? I'll go to Dayton. First 4.
All right.
We'll see. Jury's still out on whether or not IU will make the tournament. Right now, it's a no, but the potential's there. Let's talk about the Super Bowl.
There is hope.
Let's talk about the Super Bowl.
Let's do it.
I feel like we kind of said all there needs to be said in the last time.
Yeah, I mean everything that I said last time still stands today. I mean about Mahomes and about Kelsey. They're the Brady and Gronk of this generation, you know? Like, by the time the playoffs come around, it's just they flip the switch no matter how bad they look during the regular season. It's just a different animal for them. They just become totally different players, you know? And, I mean, again, it's cliche. Is it stupid to say? Maybe. But there's just that level of talent that only comes around maybe once in a generation, you know? So...
I hate to say this as like a sports fan, but going into this game, I just don't care. Like, I just don't care about like who's gonna win or not.
What's the better storyline for you? Is it the Chiefs
I'd
and
rather
everything that they've overcome this year?
I'd rather see Brock Purdy win as like I'm gonna root for the 49ers, but I really don't care about either of these teams if I'm being completely honest with you.
I mean, that's kind of the feelings of everybody.
I hate to be that way, but like I'm focused too much on IU basketball to where like I just don't have energy to care about the Super Bowl.
That's the thing. I feel like a lot of football fans agree with you, but at the same time, I would not be shocked, and I guarantee this is probably going to be the most watched Super Bowl of all time.
All the Swifties,
of all time.
All the Swifties are going to watch.
And again, it's a great thing for the NFL.
Yeah.
Nobody realizes it. Like, everybody who's complaining about seeing Taylor up on the screen all the time, one, that's not her choice. She doesn't want that, you know? But the NFL, like, it's going to be such a great thing for the NFL because there's so many new fans this year.
Yeah.
There's so many new fans.
And, like, every single time I don't care that they show Taylor Swift every single time. Like, who cares? Like,
it truly does not matter.
It's such a weird thing to, like, get upset about. Like, just move on.
Yeah, on the herd, Colin was making a point I feel like I've brought this up before. Maybe I have, or maybe I haven't. But he made a great point about anybody who's mad about Taylor Swift being at the games and blah, 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 It's such an invalid argument that, like, I just want to watch football. That's such an invalid argument because if you think back, I mean, think about every single time that you see Drake at a Raptors game. Think about every single time you see Jack Nicholson at a Lakers game in the 80s and 90s. Spike Lee at Knicks games, Nobody says a thing. Everybody's just like, oh, yeah, that was so cool,
Did you see I don't know if we talked about this earlier. Did you see, like, the one suite at the college football national title game? In one box suite.
Yes.
It was
Jeter.
It was
Jordan.
It was Jeter, Michael Jordan, Stephen A. Smith, Travis Scott, Spike Lee.
So funny.
And I was like, that is the most random group of people.
It's not random though. It's the
Kind
thing.
of, like
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
I was like,
it's
what's
not random at all.
I was like, what's the net worth of that
press box of that suite? Right.
I'm
there.
like, is it an overestimate to say it's like in the trillions? I'm like,
it probably is.
It might be.
You know what? Let's do the math right now. Okay, so Michael Jordan.
Hold on, we
worth.
gotta. All right, this is gonna be the rest. We're ending the show with what the net. Okay, wait, we gotta find everyone in that box.
Okay.
I'll find everyone and look up their net worth. Okay, Mike.
Here, I got you. Tell me.
I'll look up who was in the box, and you look up their net worth, and then
we're
I'll
already at $3 billion right now for Michael Jordan, by the way.
Okay. So here, I'm just gonna look up college. I don't even know what to look up. I'm just gonna look Michael Jordan college football.
Dang.
Sweet.
Genuinely, after only looking at two people, it might not reach the trillions. Honestly, I really don't.
I think I overestimated how much
probably
a
did,
trillion.
but
we still. I feel like we still have to do the math though.
So Jordan's at $3 billion. Jeter's at 200 million. Let's see. Who else was in there? Travis Scott.
Yeah. I vastly, because a trillion is 1,000 billion. So
Travis Scott is 80 million. So we're at 3,280 million. Let's see. Stephen A. Smith, I think we said.
Yeah. There was someone I think we're missing.
Stephen A. Smith is 20 million, so that's $3.3 billion.
Spike Lee. Okay, Jordan is really doing some heavy lifting here.
Oh, undoubtedly.
I no longer care because I no longer care. But
just those four. But still, you have to think between those four, 3.3 billion, not bad.
But I remember
Jordan's doing 90% of the work.
I remember they showed that. I'm like, what is this booth?
That was an incredible shot. Like I remember seeing that live, and I was like, wait. I see Jeter, I see Stephen A, I see Spike Lee, I see Jordan, and I'm like, what?
I think there's like someone else we're missing. I don't know. We'll see.
Let me see Spike Lee's net worth. About 60 million, so 3.36 billion. There we go.
Then, I don't know who these other randoms are. There's I don't know.
That's still an incredible hang, though.
Stephen A. Smith talking to some chick. I don't know what her net worth is. We'll see.
An incredible booth. Incredible booth.
What would you pay to like be in that booth for that game?
Nowhere near enough what they make. Like I'll tell you that much right now.
I wonder what like if you asked someone that like how much would you pay to like watch the national championship in a suite with Michael Jordan, Derek Jeter, Travis Scott?
I wouldn't say everything that I own, but like damn near close. That would be such a fun afternoon.
All right. Lastly,
just start life over at that point after that's done.
to end the episode, Jackson, how are the Blues doing?
Let's do a Blues update here. I keep forgetting that we're doing that.
Bro was too busy preparing for women's basketball for a different podcast. That's part of why we talked about the women's. He forgot he had to talk about the Blues.
Forgot about my Blues, man. Let's see. Wait, they haven't really played.
Actually, I forgot
they
this.
Haven't really played.
I totally forgot it was the NHL All-Star break.
No, yeah, it was the All-Star break. I'm like, they haven't played.
So they haven't played. So
they don't play until
So you're off the hook
Saturday.
You're off the hook for your Blues today. All right,
This just
Tuesday.
goes to show how much we know about hockey.
Tuesday, February 13th, they're at Toronto, and then Monday, February 19th, they host Toronto in St. Louis.
They're doing like a big event at some point, right? Like aren't they playing at like Wrigley Field or something like that at some point?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think the Blackhawks are hosting the Blues, and they're playing at like Wrigley Field or something.
Really?
I think so.
That might be like the Winter Classic next year or something.
Let me see. Yeah, the 2020. Wait. Oh, okay. Yep. 2025 Winter Classic at Wrigley Field. Yep. Okay, so yeah, that'll be next year then.
They want to see Bedard play.
Right. So, but yeah, that's your Blues update. Go Blues.
All right.
Fourth in the Central Division. So,
All right. Let's see. The Leafs, I don't think, because it's been the NHL All-Star break.
There's nothing.
I forgot that was going on. The big development Leaf-wise from the All-Star break is people are getting mad at Austin Matthews because he was trying too hard
during
in the
the
game.
All-Star game.
Yeah, I think he ripped a slap shot at Connor Hellebuck, which you're a goalie. That's your job is to take shots like that. But the other players were not happy with how hard he was trying. Shut up.
I mean, it's the All-Star game, so it's like what. I understand the arguments for both sides. I understand it for both, just because it's how many times are you actually going to be an All-Star, realistically? If you're a kid growing up hoping to be in the NHL, how realistic is it that you're actually going to be?
When's the NBA
All-Star
All-Star game? Because it's in Indy.
That is not this weekend, but next weekend, I believe. Because I don't think they want to have the All-Star game the same weekend as the Super Bowl, I believe.
Yeah, my buddies were talking about maybe going up there, not even to go to the game or the dunk contest or anything, but just to walk around and just to be there.
Yeah. Yes, I'm correct. So not this coming weekend, but next weekend, the weekend of February 16th is the All-Star game.
I looked, I was like, because I saw a thing I have so many ticket apps for when I go to games and stuff to where I get alerts about events in my events in Indiana. It was I was like, we can go to the All-Star Celebrity Game for $30. And my friend's like, I wouldn't go to that for free, dude. I'm sorry.
I mean, the downtown atmosphere, I feel like it's going to be really cool, though, is the thing. Because, Indy's weirdly a really good place to host big events. Whether it's the Super Bowl, whether it's the March Madness tournament,
Indianapolis is an underrated city, in my opinion.
It's a great city. It's a great city. So there are definitely some parts of it that's kind of
you get past Lucas Oil and then
So,
but I mean downtown Indy is
it's
pretty
fun,
nice.
Man. It's fun.
I haven't been there as much as I've been to Chicago.
Yeah,
but I've been to Indy my fair share of times, and it is fun.
It's a great city, man. Yeah, like you said, people don't give it enough love. I feel like so. All right, did you have anything else?
I think that's gonna do it. I didn't really have much for this show, but we'll see when March Madness comes around.
Mm-hmm.
I just realized we're gonna. I just realized so the March Madness tournament always starts on a Thursday.
Yeah.
So we'll get to the Wednesday before March Madness. We can do a whole. We could we can do brackets.
Yeah, that sounds good.
That'll be fun.
Fill out brackets then, and then
I'll probably already have mine filled out by then.
I've got a bet going with my dad right now on how far Purdue's gonna make it in the tournament. He thinks they're gonna win it all. He thinks Purdue's gonna win it all.
And you have how much that says they don't?
Yeah. I think we have a certain level. So if they win it all, I owe my dad $50. And then if they make it to the Final Four, then I owe him 20 or something. And then if they get out before that, he owes me.
If they get out before the Final Four?
Yeah, if they get out before, I think it was actually before the Elite Eight. Yeah, I was pretty confident in that. I'll have to double check the standings of the bet and everything.
I know every year people say that Purdue is different this year.
Everyone's saying they're different this year, which yes, they are. I think, but I just don't think that.
The team that I saw play IU was on a mission, and but here's the thing. They might just lose to a 16 seed.
How comfortable? I was gonna say the past 2 years.
I have no idea.
2 years they've been gone within the first 2 rounds. So it's what makes me think this team's going to be any
Exactly.
different? It's the exact same team,
I know.
you know? Like,
Well,
I mean, then again,
all my
everyone
friends that are Purdue fans are like, well, Virginia lost to a 16 seed and then won it all the next year.
I was going to say, I mean, I guess I can't really be making that argument because I hate to bring it back to this, but Michigan has the exact same team 3 years in a row and they just won. So I guess I can't be saying that either. But yeah, the way that they've played come tournament time, I just don't have any confidence in them, you know? I don't know.
Well, you could have said the same thing for Michigan because they lost to TCU
exactly
and
my point.
Georgia.
That's exactly my point. That's what I was saying. Like, I can't really be making that argument, though.
I'll tell you right
I'm kind
now,
of being
though,
a hypocrite, so.
the team to beat is UConn.
I feel like at the point, right?
I
feel like Purdue is the
if
the team to beat, though.
if you put UConn and Purdue on a neutral court and had them play 10 times, I think UConn wins 8 times.
Really?
I think UConn's guard play is so good. Like, look.
You think 8 times they beat them, though?
Yes. Their guards are crazy. They just slash to the rim effortlessly, like almost every time. And then they got Cam Spencer. They could just kick it out, who for 3 anytime they want. He was annoying as hell at Rutgers. He's being annoying as hell now. Like, if Purdue played UConn, who am I taking? Braden Smith and Fletcher Laurel, 2 guys from, like, suburban Indiana? Or am I taking 2 guys from, like, the Bronx that have been playing, like, on the street since they were, like, 12? That's literally what every year UConn has guards like that. That's what Kemba Walker was. That's what literally every year they have people like that. I also think Dan Hurley is also a really good coach.
Yeah.
Really good coach. I think he might be the best coach in college basketball right now.
I mean, this year,
with all these guys like retiring, like Coach K and all that, I think right now I'd take Dan Hurley over any coach in college basketball.
I mean, this year in particular has been such a good year, though, for like the upset. So that's part of the reason why I think Purdue won't make it too far in the tournament. Just because everybody's been able to upset.
Year, though.
I don't know about that, though. This year especially, like a lot of big teams have gone down to teams they shouldn't have lost to, you know? So
not really Purdue, though. I mean, Nebraska,
which gives them more of an ultimatum to lose.
I know. Like, I don't even know why I'm defending Purdue so much. Well,
you're being more objective than I am.
Well,
you're being more objective than I am.
But like, they also could just lose. Like they've done it the last 2 years. I don't know. I'm not gonna pick them to win it all. Here's the thing.
How confident would you feel if you're in my shoes right now that they don't make the Final Four? How confident would you feel in that bet? If you made that bet with my dad,
here's the thing. I think if they get to the Sweet 16, they'll make the Final Four. Then again, though, like, no, because, yeah, I think if they make, because they're going to be in the Midwest region as a 1 seed. So they're going to be playing at least somewhat close. I don't know where the Midwest region is this year, but they're going to be playing at least somewhat close. I think if they get there, like when they get to the big stage, they'll come through, but they just got to not overlook the 9 seed that they're going to play or whatever.
I mean, they got kicked out by the 16th seed last year, so
I know.
It's like,
and it's also like they haven't made a Final Four since 1980, and IU has like 3 national titles since then. well, I really don't know, because here's what always ends up happening when I pick my bracket. This goes for any bracket I make, and it's a bad way to make a bracket. Don't do this. I look at every team and I go, okay, why will they not win? I never pick the number 1 overall team because the number 1 overall team hasn't won since like 2010.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, so like, let's say UConn. I'll be like, all right, can't pick UConn. Can't pick Purdue because, well, they're Purdue and they're going to lose somehow. And then I'll be like, do I really like Houston? Yeah, they're good, but sometimes their offense lags. And then I'm like, okay, guys, I'm picking Iowa State to win it all. Like, that's what happens every single time.
But I think a lot of people agree with you on that.
Don't make a bracket like that.
Well, I think a lot of people agree with you on that, though, just because of the branding of this tournament. You know, it's March Madness. I would be surprised to learn if anybody how many people truly pick the number 1 pick overall to win, you know?
Because every year, everyone picks every year it's like 25-30% of people pick the number 1 overall team. They haven't won since 2013 when Louisville was the number 1 overall team. And that's one of 2 years I've gotten the champion right. 2013, I picked Louisville to win it all. They won it.
Yeah.
2015, I picked Duke to win it all, and they won it. Haven't been right about a champion since then. It has been 8 years of me picking the champion wrong, so we'll see. I picked UCLA last year, and they lost. So
yeah, I don't know, man. It's exciting though. I'm excited for the episode right before the tournament starts. That'll be fun. That'll be good.
I'll tell you how my bracket will go. Every single year, all the upsets I pick won't lose, but all my like big teams will like make it to the Sweet 16. I'll be like, look, I got like 12 of the Sweet 16. I still have all my Elite 8 teams and all my Final Four, and then they all lose. And I'm like, okay, that's great.
Well,
We'll see. This year, I'm getting the perfect bracket. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed. Maybe I'll get a bracketology out for next episode. Let's plan on that. All right. Have a good day, everyone.